Hi, and welcome back to I Can Grow. And today, I'm going to be showing you how to elevate your lemon growing game from this to this. We're going to be talking about everything lemons. From your soil to your nutrient feeding schedule and watering as well. But first, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and the bell notifications so you'll stay updated on every future episode of the City Garden. But let's get back into the video. Let me show you my oldest citrus tree first. Some of the smaller ones that I have transplanted to outdoors are the other citrus plants that are going back inside because I want to keep them growing inside for now. I kept them outside. And once they're bigger, they will get a new home as well. They all got a new home. Oh, but they're gonna take this time and not die. Some of them did die. Be super great. The lemons are doing pretty well. Wow, it's crazy. Yeah. However, they're looking quite fantastic right now. This one's doing rather well, even though it's a little bit yellowish. You are okay. They're hardening off. All of them. Perfect. Almost forgot. This little lemon is surviving. It's weird. Little experiment seems to be okay for now. Spoiler alert, it died. Yeah. But that was more due to neglect. Alright, so let's get into the nitty-gritty and talk about NPK. Now, because your lemon tree is a heavy feeder, you are required to use a very strong fertilizer. Use a fertilizer formulated for citrus with a higher nitrogen content. Something like a 2:1 to 1 NPK ratio early on. Feed it every 4 to 6 weeks during the growing season, spring through summer, then cut back in fall and winter. For example, I'm using a fertilizer specifically devised for citrus trees with an NPK ratio of 27 and 16, which is 20% nitrogen, 7% phosphorus, and 16% potassium. It also has a few micronutrients, but again, we're not diving into this in this video. This fertilizer will last me for up to 6 months. However, I've halved the dose and I'm pretty much giving them nutrients every 3 months, but on half of the dose that is recommended on their chart there on the back of the case that you're seeing on the screen right there, which sums up our talk about fertilization. Now let's get to soil. Your lemons typically like a more acidic or a slightly more acidic soil, similar to tomatoes, with a pH of 5.5 to 6.5. That's what you're aiming for. But you will have to make sure that your soil is nice, loose, and rich with organic matter. If you're planting it in the ground, dig a hole twice as wide as the size of the root ball, but no deeper than the soil line of your tree. In a container, you can pretty much do whatever you want, which is what I did. Let's talk about your watering schedule. So you do not want to give your citrus trees too much water because you will drown your roots, but give them too little water and you stress the plants. However, remember, they are a desert plant. They do thrive in the desert, so you can let them dry out a slight bit, but not too far. So water them deeply, then let the top few inches of soil dry before watering again. Container grown trees will need more frequent watering than in-ground trees. Pay attention, don't guess. Mulch around the base to keep the moisture steady, but keep the mulch a couple inches away from the trunk so you don't rot it out. That's something I didn't do because I don't really think it's going to rot away, because it does already have a little bit of bark around the base of the trunk, which you can see. And if you do have a little bit of barking around the base of the tree, you should be absolutely fine. Now that we touched on some of the main topics that I wanted to touch on, one thing that is very important is citrus trees in general are not built for cold weather. They are subtropical plants and thus want to have that sort of climate around them. However, I am trying to do something that I've done with a very old tree of mine that sadly passed away, called acclimatization. I basically put them outside for a few hours, then put them back in the growing tent, then put them back outside for a few hours plus another few hours, and then repeat the same cycle until I've established them growing outside, which I've already got them to do because they're thriving very, very well outside for now. But that means if you are living somewhere where you have like regular frost or you have a very cold winter, you will either grow in a pot or bring them inside during the winter, or you can also build some protection around it, but I would recommend just bringing them inside or putting them in a very nice and warm grow tent. Varieties like Eureka and Lisbon give you classic lemons year-round in warm climates. Very important. Meyer lemons, a little sweeter, can handle slightly cooler temps. Those are 3 of your starting varieties that you can use. Me personally, I just grew whatever I've eaten, basically, so those will be various different citrus fruit trees. Popping out some mandarins, there should also be 2 oranges there, 3 lemons, and I believe 1 tangerine. Let me be perfectly clear. You just don't wake up one morning, stick a seed in the dirt, and expect to be sipping lemonade by sunset. Growing lemons, like anything worth a damn, takes time, consistency, and work ethic. It will take around 6 to 9 months from flowering to ripe fruit. Now note that you're not going to have the first flowers in the first, I want to say 2 years. I think I've had my citrus tree for like 3 years before it started flowering. This year is the first year that it gave like small little lemons. Anyway, if you liked this episode, or if you have anything to comment, any growing tips for any of us, please hit it in the comment section below. And if you're interested, here's another video about tomatoes. And always remember, if I can grow, what's stopping you?